Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be on the Matrix, that you are enjoying the new energies, and that you are getting rid of the old energies, and you're understanding that right now in the time of the new moon. If you are indeed listening to this during the new moon week, that we are letting go of the old at this time. We are letting go and purging everything that we don't need. Now, I mean emotionally purging, getting rid of things we don't need in our emotional energy field, such as anxiety and depression. We are purging ourselves of people that did not accept us for who we were, and people who did not love us back if we indeed loved somebody and that was our situation, that they were incapable of responding to the beauty of our love. We are purging physically as our bodies relax, release, and let go of toxins. Lots of ascension energy there with the toxicity in your body being released and purged. A friend of mine told me today that she has been noticing an odd taste in her tap water that does not taste good. Like there's like a tinny metallic taste mixed with a little bit of sulfur, and her body is throwing off water like crazy. Like her lymphatic system's like no, and releasing everything that doesn't serve. And I told her, you better switch over to bottled water now. And so she's like, yeah, I'm not going to drink tap water ever again. There's something going on with it. But she says at least her body's responding in a way that it's letting go of it. The universe has been giving us signs. A lot of people have contacted me saying they are seeing lions everywhere. I'm one of these people too. A lot of lions. I took a 2-day, almost maybe a day and a half fast away from social media this weekend, just so I could relax and have a deeper relaxation. I did not do anything really. I'm in quarantine. It's been 4 months, not really doing much socializing at all, which is sad because I do miss my friends here in Cuenca. But I needed that purge of just, I don't need this stuff, the energy of worrying about if someone liked me or didn't, or whatever, or liked my post or didn't. In fact, what's really hilarious to me is that like 50 people purged me from their feed last week, but another like 35 or something people actually added me. So the people who didn't need me because I'm not in their soul tribe, or I don't even know what, I think a lot of them were people in Nigeria trying to do the voodoo love spell, bring back your ex type of thing. I had a whole bunch of people like that follow me in the past month, and suddenly I think they have been purged from my feed. And for that, I'm grateful, because first of all, my ex-husband's dead. Don't really want to bring him back to my life. I mean, I'm not into that zombie love. Yeah, I just don't think so. But also, I had a lot of men trying to scam me, pretending there's something they're not. The weird scammers. You all have had them. So I think that a lot of them just decided randomly to leave, which was good. And maybe some people who didn't like my message because it didn't resonate with them, which is also okay. That's good, because now maybe they can go follow somebody else who's going to be more in resonance with where they're at. We have to be with the people we vibrate the highest with. We don't need those people dragging us down, giving us negative energy or whatever. So it's really strange. I mean, I did my very first live video, I think in like 18 months. And all of a sudden 20 people deleted me. Oh my God, I didn't think I was all that ugly. Anyway, I think it's because people just don't resonate with the message, because they're not on the spiritual path. They're not in a spiritual way. I tried to do an ad, basically just boosting one of my posts, and Instagram said that they were going to help me find people who I follow, like people that I follow. And so I just trusted them, and one day into it, I realized they were sending my picture to teenage boys in Guayaquil, Ecuador. I'm thinking most of them probably don't even speak English, so why are they doing that? Crazy, right? And if you are a teenage boy in Guayaquil and do speak English and are listening to the show, bienvenidos, I'm happy to have you aboard. There's nothing wrong with that, but it was a very strange audience they picked out for me, because those were the followers that suddenly I'm getting, and I'm like, just because I live in Ecuador, it doesn't mean, I don't mind having Ecuadorian followers, obviously, but what good does it do people if they don't understand my posts, right? And a lot of the English-speaking Ecuadorians I've met do follow me, which is awesome. I follow them too. But there's been this really strangeness. I had to stop that. I stopped that post immediately. Some other weird stuff went on. Oh my gosh. I've had to rethink a lot. I'm still in the Mercury retrograde shadow period. And everything that I had ordered on Wish, I ordered a lot of little items, but things that I can't get here. And, like sweatpants that fit women. And, the extra large in the grown women's section would not fit a 12-year-old girl in the United States. It's like, I don't understand why I see all these women that are significantly more overweight than I am. I don't see, where the hell do they get their clothes? Are they making them? Are they buying men's clothes? I don't understand, but anyway, I had to order a couple things. I found a really cool jogging outfit, which I'm never, ever going to jog in. Stuff like that. But, and also a lot of oracle card decks. I was thinking I'm going to start doing more readings for you guys. And these new cards that I found are really awesome. And I can't wait to use them. But they take 2 months. And so all the addresses were... So the address that I gave everybody changed not even 5 days after I ordered everything. And all of a sudden I get a notice saying, oh, and by the way, you have until the 15th to receive your items, otherwise you can't. And I'm like, oh my God. I just wasted $300 on things that I can never get my money back for because they can't be delivered and I can't change the address. And the biggest issue, and I found out later that's not true, because he said he would let me receive the items. He's still keeping that place. It's just that the new address is a new warehouse because his business is expanding so rapidly, because so many Americans in Ecuador need things to be shipped to Florida so he could bring them down on a plane, because we don't get our mail here unless it's from the Social Security office or the IRS. Unfortunately, I found that out personally. So anyway, when it's like, legal-ish papers, but when it's, something nice that you've ordered, we don't trust that. I ordered a necklace from Australia, never, ever got here. And they resent it, a new one, similar, never, ever got here. It's like, so if you're going to order something nice, you're never going to get it. So that's why we have the service. So I've been trying to tell Wish.com, hey, this is what happened. And they don't understand me. And I have had to write them about 12 times, and they don't understand. And I put it in different ways. The service I'm using has changed their address. I'm sorry you did not I'm sorry you did not enter the correct address, ma'am. But there's nothing we can do about that. You've just lost the item, and we cannot refund your money. Then I have to write them back. I didn't lose my address. I didn't change the address. I didn't enter the wrong address. The service I use to receive the items. And then they come back to me and they say, we're sorry you haven't received your items yet. So then I have to write them back. It's a matter of changing the address. Oh, we're sorry you haven't been able to find the form. Here on the app is where you change the address. And then I have to write back, I did that. The address wasn't the right address. Yeah, or they say that this is not a correct address, that this address doesn't exist, even though I found it on Google Maps and I know for a fact it exists. It's like I didn't, and then they come back to me. You only have 8 hours to change your address right after an order, otherwise it cannot be changed. It's like, I know that. I'm trying to change it in the app. I'm not going to receive any of the items because you all can't help me. So for 2 weeks, these kind of stupid asinine conversations have been happening. And I'm like, part of me is just laughing about it because it's like, dude, it's Mercury retrograde, shadow period. And plus dealing with people with English as a second language. Ironically, while I'm taking classes to teach English as a second language. You understand my frustration, right? So I've just been trying to figure out a bunch of weird stuff like that just in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. But luckily I found out that he said, no, don't worry, I still have that other address. I guess what's happening is there's storage facilities that have a person full-time 24 hours a day, 7 days a week there. So when a shipment comes in, they could put it into that storage unit, kind of like a mailboxes, etc. sort of thing. And it's like armed security guards, there's lights, there's security cameras, there's a fence all around. You got to have a special key to get in, so it's very, very secure. Better than if you just had an apartment where mail would just show up randomly, obviously. So the service is good. The business is booming. And he's already, in 5 days after he changed the address to the second location, he's now had to upgrade it to a third location because so much stuff has arrived. Oh my God. So Americans here in Ecuador, apparently we are all very much becoming consumers again. It's like, it's not like we can receive catalogs and magazines that tell us what we want to buy. I mean, that is one huge reason why I was so grateful to get away from the United States in the beginning, because I was getting a stack of catalogs like a foot tall, and I threw half of them away, and a lot of them were duplicates, so I had to call all those, please stop sending me 4 catalogs a week, dude. And I mean, I was getting so much mail. Oh my God, the mail, it's like I was collapsing under the weight of the mail on top of me. It's how I felt emotionally. It was too much as an introvert, and it was too much. I have to pay money to haul the trash away, It was too much trash, and it's ridiculous. So coming here to Ecuador, I mean, I've gotten 2 pieces of mail in 3 years. Oh God, and they were IRS related. They were the Social Security office saying, here's the money you made so you can report to the IRS. It was what? Oh my God, that got here? Wow. I heard about this service, and I thought, well, I'll order some things off of Wish. This is cool. I could get, I love getting clothes coming out of Asia because I'm short, and a lot of their clothes tend to be short. So that it works out. It looks normal on me versus having to get everything hemmed or pinned up or rolled up. When you buy jeans, they're supposed to fit you to the ankle, and I have to roll them up and have giant cuffs like I'm a little teenage boy in the 50s. So I kind of like ordering stuff from Asia anyway. So, I'm ordering stuff from Korea, I'm ordering stuff from China, and, it's going to be sitting in a warehouse for, God knows how long. So if it has coronavirus on it, by the time it gets to me, it won't. So, kind of win-win all the way around. So I've been doing the shopping, too much consumerific activities, and as a result of this guy changing his address every 5 frickin' minutes, I've been kind of purging myself of buying and being a consumer right now. I have a list of things I want still, so sometimes I'll go on Wish for an hour and look at t-shirts or some crap, just oh, I love this t-shirt, this is funny, this is hilarious, let me just bookmark it. So I just save it, and I know full well a couple weeks from now I'll go back and go, what the hell was I thinking? I was in consumer mode. I don't need that. That won't even look good on me. That would look so dumb on me. Or I don't even like those colors. It's I don't know what it is with the consuming mind. But that's something that we need to purge from ourselves in our lives. And right now it's this big purge, I know my body, it's I've been getting rid of toxins. I had this, I think about a week ago, where my body was just or maybe it was 2 weeks ago now, where my body was just all right, everybody detox. And all my cells at once just went, and just hurling stuff out of my body. And I'm just oh my God. I think there was 2 days I never left the bathroom practically, a couple weeks ago, and today has been no different. Today is again another level of that, but I started eating a ton of vegetables, so that could be it. But when I asked my spiritual guidance team, they said no, it is the energy of the planet. Everybody is going through all of these different kinds of purges. Physically, your body's just oh, we don't need those toxins anymore. We don't need that fat anymore. We're going to just release all that. People are detoxing from each other. The ones that are not feeling good, they're a little bit not, feeling toxic for you. Or when, they think you're toxic for them, they're purging you, you're purging them. Or maybe your message doesn't resonate and they think, I don't need to hear that message anymore. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm not, whatever. People are changing. People are changing, and we're all detoxing. And even as I'm talking to you guys, I touch my cheek and I just feel like my skin feels clearer. It feels more detoxed. It's weird. I've had a need to drink a lot more water lately. My mouth has been a lot more dry when it should not be. I've been drinking a lot more water, so I've been feeling like we have to drink tons of water right now to continue this process of detoxing. I'm detoxing through my lungs. I mean, if I start to get in that mode where I'm about to fall asleep for 5 minutes, my mouth feels like I've been sleeping for 8 hours and I've got to go brush my teeth and spend 5 minutes. Like, I'm detoxing through the lungs, I'm detoxing through the intestines, I'm detoxing through my skin. Like, when I'm sweating, it's like it's just coming out of me. Whatever was in my body, it's like my body's automatically detoxing and purging. It's a good thing. It doesn't feel like a good thing when you're going through it, but it's a good thing. I'm getting rid of old patterns. I'm detoxing from old patterns. And I think you guys are too. Those of you who follow me on Instagram and I follow you back, I've seen a lot of people really grow by leaps and bounds tremendously. Detoxing from relationships that don't serve, detoxing from all of the old patterns and ideas and thoughts that weren't serving you. And some people have dumped relationships or been dumped by people in their relationships recently. Remember that Venus retrograde period was really a bitch for people. When it went direct, people were like, oh my God, I just lost this relationship. Now, some of you got back together with that person, but you were able to dump the things between you that were not working in the relationship. And if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And if it's not meant to be, then that was a favor that the lovely Venus did for you. Now we are, our skies have been graced by Comet Neowise in a massive way lately. I don't know if you have been seeing the pictures or paying attention to this, but I love the name of this comet. Neo, meaning new, wise, obviously, wisdom. New wisdom, comet new wisdom, basically. We are all achieving a higher level of wisdom and also understanding. But this comet is like lighting up. The sky is like, it's unbelievably bright. And it's visible at different times in different places. But I think at this time, it's actually visible all over the planet. Comet Neowise. I mean, there's a lot of comets out there, and Saturn is so freaking bright in the sky that you can just like walk out and look at it with a naked eye. Saturn, what the hell? That's kind of cool, actually. It's really cool. A lot of this sky, like Mars and Venus, are visible in the sky too. Jupiter also. If you look really hard, you could see Uranus. You gotta bend over backwards to see it, but no, I'm just kidding. I mean, all the planets are visible. I mean, if you have a small telescope, you can see everything, all the planets suddenly. Everything's visible. It's weird. But we are in a new moon phase, so we're letting go of all the old stuff, and we're beginning anew. We're beginning afresh. This week is time to build up all the things that we do want. Whereas last week was about releasing and letting go of things you don't want. And that energy is still there. That purging energy is just, man. I sat down 2 hours ago to record the show. And I thought, well, I'm going to start with the reading. And I read a chapter in our book. And I had to end it. So, I'm going to separate the chapters out today because of this problem with my intestinal distress that I've been having. Just in case, so it's like, I'll read a quick chapter and then I'm like, oh, I need to maybe attend to other physical matters. But, I don't know. I mean, I know my hair is looking brighter. Like, my original color is absolutely back, which is so great. I'm so grateful for that. I don't have to dye my hair. Ugh. I'm grateful for that. It's been really nice. That has been really, I'm really grateful about that. And I keep going back and forth. I'm still trying to make my face more youthful, But I think I'm looking a little bit younger this week than I was last week. But that keeps fluctuating, and we keep hopping timelines still. We're still collapsing. Some timelines are still collapsing into others. And I've been feeling not only the 9s, 9, like September keeps coming up. I'm sure a lot of changes are coming for us in September. Permanent, everlasting, beautiful, lovely changes. And the lions, I keep seeing it. I keep seeing it everywhere. Not just from the Lionsgate posts either, because that was 7/7. So that's a long time ago now. That was 13 whole days ago, damn it. But I've been seeing lions everywhere. Even in the clouds, looked up in the sky and saw this massive lion head in the clouds. And even, when I'm being consumerific on Wish, I kept coming across lions on t-shirts. On a hoodie, I found a lion. I'm like, wow. I don't know that I would wear that. I mean, it was really beautiful, but it's not like a statement I'm trying to make or something. I don't know. I don't know. I did find a really kick-ass Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas hoodie that I just might have to buy, actually. I mean, I love Hunter S. Thompson, and I loved the movie, and I might have to buy this. It's like cartoon line drawings of the characters in the movie and just symbols and stuff of it. But it's really cool. It's the way it's put together. It's funny. I found a burrito blanket. Have you guys seen the burrito blanket? Oh my God, this thing is hysterically funny. I mean, I was also, because it's been cold. It's been very cold. It's been, over the weekend, it was like 44 degrees at night. Like, it was very, very cold. And I'm like, all day long, I've been feeling very cold. And over the weekend, I lost my sense of taste. Like, I couldn't taste. I think on Friday, I told you guys about this already. So then now I'm going through this, and now my son's like, oh my God, you have COVID. I'm like, I don't. I know I don't. I feel like I don't. And I've been congested, and he's like really upset. Like, I think you might be sick, Mom. I'm like, I'm not. I know I'm not. Hospitals here are completely full to capacity. So even if I am sick, I can't even go to the hospital. I have to take care of myself. So, except for the Catholic hospital, I don't think is completely filled up, but there's a 95-year-old priest I found out there who was a molester, which I think I said Friday. I covered this last week. And so maybe that's why people don't want to go there. They'd rather die. Because they have like weird and bad associations of that. We have a brand new vice president. I don't know why. Not new president, but we have a new vice president. And she's a woman here in Ecuador. So I forgot her name already, but I'm glad. She looks really cool. She has a good appearance about her anyway, but she had a look in her eye like she's actually very competent and very intelligent. So I'm hoping that looks in this case are not deceiving. But there's some wild stuff going on. Kanye West tried to run for president, and then suddenly he said, no, forget it. And now he's still somehow on the ballot in Oklahoma. I mean, this guy is like going off on wild tangents and rambling. I mean, in completely nonsensical stuff. You know, I'm not judging him. I mean, look at me. I'm sitting here rambling myself right now, but rambling, rawhide. No, that's probably not the lyrics, right? I used to say that to my kids when I was like trying to explain to them something, and then I just sing that rambling. The song sounds like a cowboy song to me. I don't know why. I mean, the word rambling sounds like a cowboy song to me. Anyway, yeah, it's been very strange, has it? Has it not? Days have gone so fast. Like today went super fast. I mean, I had to consciously try to slow down time so that I could enjoy my weekend. And I woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning and I got on like Facebook Lite my son had installed in my tablet. I do not like the way the keyboard works in this thing because it doesn't work very well. But, and when I try to do the voice to text, it stops every 2 words and I have to start it again every 2 words. It's completely ridiculous. But, and listen how much I'm spoiled. My God, 10 years ago, my 10 years ago self would be like, what the hell are you talking about? That's freaking awesome. Wow. Technology really came this far. Wow. And I'm all complaining. I mean, seriously, things have changed really rapidly in the past 10 years. Think about that in the past 20 years. But I mean, this weekend, it seemed to go actually longer. I feel like I somehow eked out extra time. A lot of time with my son. We watched the movie, oh my God, I just finished watching it. Downsizing. If you have not seen this movie, you've got to see it. It makes a statement about what we're going through as a species. We're possibly we've already reached the tipping point. We're possibly headed towards mass extinction of the human race again. You know, it's quite possible. I mean, according to scientists, it's totally probable. But I'm thinking there's always ways out that we don't foresee. But it's a good movie. It's about people that shrink themselves down to 5 inches tall. And they're doing it for the good of the environment. You know, obviously, you know. Whereas before you shrink yourself down, you could eat a whole buttload of grapes. And now you just slice off a section of a grape and after that you're full. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like that's what it would be. Anyway, if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. It is on Netflix right now. I don't know if you guys are all in quarantine still. It's an energy of, like, we feel like we're going crazy. My son is like, I need it. Like, I have cabin fever. I don't want to go outside. I'm afraid to leave the house. it's a creepy feeling. It's a creepy feeling that it's just like never ending. And all this stuff going on in the U.S. with, suddenly like, oh, we're opening up theaters again. It's like, and we're ignoring the fact that 10,000 people got COVID yesterday. We're going to ignore the fact that 15,000 people, tested positive for the virus. Yeah, everything's open. Social distancing at Disneyland. Not allowed to eat while drinking or eating. I mean, walking while eating or drinking anything, though. Your mouths have to be socially distanced from other mouths. I mean, it's like ridiculous. It's like you can't even like walk and talk and eat popcorn at Disneyland. Or fairy floss. What do they call that? Cotton candy. I watched The Little Mermaid and they called it fairy floss back in the 1920s in the United States. It's a really strange movie, The Little Mermaid. I can't believe I missed it until just this weekend. I did have fun watching movies during the weekend. I hope you guys had a good weekend too. It's been raining like crazy, and I woke up at 10. I had to answer like 30 people had written me in the past 2 months, since I have not been on Messenger or anything in 2 months. And I finally got back to people. And that was like maybe an hour. And then one of my friends needed some kind of deeper conversation. So we talked for about 2 hours until around noon. And then I didn't really do anything else. I feel like I watched a show for 30 minutes and next thing I know, it was 5 o'clock in the evening. It was like, boom, 5 hours. And I feel like I kind of am missing time. I don't think I did, but I think the time just sped up that fast. It felt like 30 minutes and it was 5 hours later. I'm feeling like there's energetically some crazy stuff going on. And a friend of mine is telling me that her twin flame felt like he was standing right there in the room, and she heard his voice as if he was just invisible, but his voice was completely clear. And I hear my twin's voice in my head, like, just like it's in that receiving signal area of the brain that we talked about last week when I channeled God about telepathy. I still hear him like that, but I smelled his shaving cream over the weekend. It was nice. It was nice to smell that. My son hasn't shaved his beard. It's a protest against a quarantine, so he said, I'm not going to shave it until we're allowed to leave the house again. So I know it wasn't him. I'm like, what is that smell? Shaving cream plus aftershave lotion, which smelled really good. Which I think I also mentioned on Friday. So, yeah, over the weekend I had this, I have these dreams that seemed super, super intense. And the second I woke up, I forgot everything. And the time is speeding up. So I don't know. It's been weird. Aches and pains, of course, tinnitus randomly, and the tinnitus isn't lasting all day long anymore, but it's like, it'll just show up out of nowhere and it'll be in one ear and then it'll be in the other ear, but it'll be like a different pitch. So you have two different pitches in two ears. It's gotten a little stranger and more annoying. So, I don't know. I just want to bring up the Ascension symptoms I'm noticing. Sleeping a lot or sleeping at weird hours, like being wide awake till 4 a.m. and then sleeping really hard for 4 hours and then waking up and being wide awake again. Those are other kinds of things. Just having insomnia but then out of nowhere sleeping a lot. Like over the weekend, I think I had one day, like on Saturday, I think I slept 10 hours. 10 hours in a row, and I think I went to bed early too. A lot of sleeping over the weekend. So, there you have it. We're going to go over to spaceweather.com because there's some stuff going on over here. Spaceweather.com, by the way, there's a gorgeous, oh my God, gorgeous picture. It almost looks like a fairy, Comet Neowise. It's so beautiful. It's beginning to dim though, so please go outside and look at Comet Neowise. Oh, and by the way, I'm having sharp shooting pains in different places. If you're having that, like I just had a sharp stabbing pain in my eye. And I have in my ring finger on my left hand, so like my wedding ring finger in the tip of the finger there. I've been having a sharp stabbing pain there. I don't even know what that means. If someone's doing voodoo against me, I'm going to find you. Oh, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because a nice witch does not hex and tell, but that stuff's only going to be there for about a minute. And it's going to come back on you 1,000-fold. I don't do this 3-fold shit. I do 1,000-fold. All right. So, let's see. Mike Hollingshead took a picture from the Badlands of South Dakota. That makes sense. This is just incredible. And you can see, it looks like Jupiter and Saturn, I think, on the low horizon, possibly. You can see planets, you can see all kinds of stuff in this picture. And the sky has this rainbow luminosity in the background of the comet. It's like purple and pink and yellow, but it's very subtle. And even turquoise and cobalt blue. Absolutely incredible picture. I mean, he says it's the comet's tail is least as bright as the Milky Way. And, from a dark sky sight, he says, that level of brightness is just amazing to look at. I mean, this was beautiful, this picture, so please go to spaceweather.com and check out the pictures. All right. Current solar wind speed is 356.8 kilometers per second. We have had 9 days without a sunspot. And the sun is blank right now, although they believe that there's a sunspot on the other side of the sun that's getting ready to turn to face Earth. They say its towering magnetic canopy is rising over the sun's southeastern limb, and there's a picture of it on spaceweather.com if you want to check it out. So they do believe it's a member of new solar cycle 25. And in the next 24 to 48 hours, we will know whether or not that's true. So we might have a sunspot coming up in the next couple days. That's something to look forward to if you are a sun watcher. So in Oulu, Finland, they were reporting the neutron counts today as being high, 9.2% of the space age average, with only 0.1% increase in intensity of that cosmic radiation in the past 48 hours. So there is now some solar wind flowing out from the equatorial coronal hole of the sun, and that will be reaching Earth, the solar winds in the form of gamma rays and other solar wind radiation. That will be reaching Earth on July 23rd to 24th, which means Thursday and Friday, just in time for the weekend. Remember, that hit today, too. From last week, we said that we were going to get that solar wind hitting us Monday and Tuesday. So I felt it a couple hours ago. I think this is part of the purge energy. It's from the soul. It's from the sun, the solar winds. All right, so beautiful picture of noctilucent clouds, like really bright cobalt blue noctilucent clouds. Beautiful, again, on spaceweather.com. According to NASA and the All Sky Fireball Network, taken from pictures taken from the NASA All Sky camera, have revealed that there were 7 fireballs reported over the United States today. 6 were sporadic, and 1 was an Alpha Capricornid. So there we go. Let's see where we're at. I want to make sure we have enough time left. The Schumann Resonance coming out of Italy, basically, disclosurenews.it, they reported that the big peaks of the day are 52, 51, and 81. So, all right. We do not have, on HeartMath Institute, we do not have anything reported from today, but rather from 2 days ago. So basically on Saturday, this is what's going on in the Schumann Resonance at the 2300 hour, so practically Sunday, about a day and a half ago. And this is what they reported. In California, they were at 124 hertz frequency. Hafuf, Saudi Arabia, was down to 0. And in Lithuania, they were at 119 hertz frequency. And in Alberta, Canada, they were at 277 hertz frequency. In Northland, New Zealand, they were at 80 hertz frequency. And finally, last but not least, in Hulului, they were at 87 hertz frequency. So, not the highest numbers that we've ever seen, but a lot higher than the Disclosure News website that everybody, talks about, because it's a pretty website and easy to function moving and navigating around that website. As opposed to HeartMath, it takes a lot more work, but it does not make as much sense to people. But I've gotten used to it. Anyway, we are on lesson 337 in A Course in Miracles. You may find the Foundation for Inner Peace website at acim.org, O-R-G. And this is it in A Course in Miracles. Again, we're on lesson 337. This is it. My sinlessness protects me from all harm. My sinlessness protects me from all harm. My sinlessness ensures me perfect peace, eternal safety, everlasting love, freedom forever, and all thought of loss, complete deliverance from suffering. And only happiness can be my state, for only happiness is given me. What must I do to know all this is mine? I must accept at-one-ment for myself, otherwise known as atonement, and nothing more. God has already done all things that need to be done, and I must learn. I need do nothing of myself, for I need but accept myself. My sinlessness, created for me, now already mine, to feel God's love protecting me from harm, to understand my Father loves His Son, to know I am the Son my Father loves. You who created me in sinlessness are not mistaken about what I am. I was mistaken when I thought I sinned, but I accept at-one-ment atonement for myself. Father, my dream is ended now. Amen. My sinlessness protects me from all harm. That's lesson 337. All right, guys, so there you have it for the introduction. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we're done with these next two small messages, we are going to go back into delving into The Human Aura by Swami Panchadasi, written in 1912, founded on, you can find it, on Gutenberg.org. So The Human Aura has been a fascinating read so far. I've been really enjoying it. I hope you guys have too. And without further ado, I'm going to take a quick break. And when I come back, The Human Aura, written by William Walker Atkinson, under a pseudonym, right after this message. It's that time of year, guys. Finally. OMG. I am up for not only one, but two People's Choice Podcast Awards this year. I had no idea. I just found out. Okay, the voting starts today, July 1st, and goes through the 31st of July. And I need you guys to nominate my podcast. This is how you do it. Go to podcastawards.com, and you have to sign up in order to nominate me, in order to vote, and you have to go to the very first category at the top, and it's the Adam Curry's People's Choice Podcast Award. And I'm way down on the list because, M, Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast, and you just click that, and then when you're done with that section, you go to the religion and spirituality category, and again, cast your vote for Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast, and then you have to go way at the bottom part of the page, and say, save my nominations. And that's it. It's that simple. It takes less than 2 minutes, probably 1 minute if you have high-speed internet, of course. It's not that much. You can even do this on your phone. It's super, super simple. I voted for myself on my tablet. OMG. So thank you for your continued support and listenership and voting for this show, because by doing so, you're keeping the show alive and we're getting the word out so that other people can benefit from my expertise. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you. And it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated. And now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. All right, guys, where we last left off last week was Chapter 8, Auric Magnetism. And again, auric is spelled A-U-R-I-C, of course, because we're talking about the human aura. And the book, of course, is The Human Aura by Swami Panchadasi, otherwise known as William Walker Atkinson. So here we go. The phenomenon of human magnetism is too well recognized by the general public to require argument at this time. Let the scientists dispute about it as much as they please. Down in the heart of nearly all of the plain people of the race is the conviction that there is such a thing. The occultists, of course, are quite familiar with the wonderful manifestations of this great natural force and with its effect upon the minds and bodies of members of the race, and can afford to smile at the attempts of the same narrow minds in the colleges to poo-poo the matter. And by the way, I think he means the human race when he says the race, just to let you know. But the average person is not familiar with the relation of this human magnetism to the human aura. I think that the student should familiarize himself with this fundamental relation in order to reason correctly on the subject of human magnetism. Here's a fundamental fact in a nutshell. The human aura is the great storehouse or reservoir of human magnetism, and is the source of all human magnetism that is projected by the individual towards other individuals. Just how human magnetism is generated is, of course, for a far deeper matter, but it is enough for our purpose at this time to explain the fact of its storage and transmission. In cases of magnetic healing, etc., the matter is comparatively simple. In such instances, the healer, by an effort of the will, sometimes unconsciously applied, projects a supply of his pranic aura vibrations into the body of his patient by way of the nervous system of the patient, and also by means of what may be called the induction of the aura itself. The mere presence of a person strongly charged with prana is often enough to cause an overflow into the aura of another person or of other persons, with the resulting feeling of new strength and energy. By the use of the hands of the healer, a heightened effect is produced by reason of certain properties inherent in the nervous system of both healer and patient. There is even a flow of etheric substance from the aura of the healer to that of the patient. In cases where the vitality of the latter is very low, many a healer has actually and literally pumped his life force and etheric substance into the body of his patient when the latter was sinking into the weakness which precedes death, and has by so doing been able to bring him back to life and strength. This is practically akin to the transfusion of blood, except that it is on the psychic plane instead of the physical. But the work of the magnetic healer does not stop here. If he be well informed regarding the science, or regarding his science, it says, sorry. The educated healer, realizing the potent effect of mental states upon physical conditions, of mental vibrations upon the physical nerve centers and organs of the body, endeavors to arouse the proper mental vibrations in the mind of his patient. Ordinarily, he does this merely by holding in his mind the corresponding desired mental state and thus arousing similar vibrations in the mind of the patient. This is, in and of itself, a powerful weapon of healing and constitutes the essence of mental healing as usually practiced. But there is a possible improvement even upon this, as we shall see in a moment. The advanced occultist, realizing the law of action and reaction in the matter of the auric colors, turns the same to account in healing work as follows. He not only holds in his mind the strong feeling and thought which he wishes to transmit to the patient, but fix this in your mind. He also pictures in his imagination the particular kind of color which corresponds with the feeling or thought in question. A moment's thought will show you that by this course he practically multiplies the effect. Not only do his own thought vibrations, one, set up corresponding vibrations in the mind of the patient by the laws of thought transference, but two, his thought of the certain colors will set up corresponding vibrations, not only A in his own aura and thence B to that of the patient, but will also 3 act directly upon the aura of the patient and reproduce the colors there, which 4 in turn will arouse corresponding vibrations in the mind of the patient by the law of reaction. The above may sound a little complicated at first reading, but a little analysis will show you that it is really quite simple a process, acting strictly along the lines of action and reaction, which law has been explained to you in preceding chapters of this book. The vibrations rebound from mind to aura and from aura to mind. In the patient, something like a billiard ball flying from one side of the table to another, or a tennis ball flying between the 2 rackets over the net. The principle herein mentioned may be employed as well in what is called absent treatment, as in treatments where the patient is present. By the laws of thought transference, not only the thought, but also the mental image of the appropriate astral color is transmitted over space and then impinging on the mind of the patient is transmitted into helpful and health-giving vibrations in his mind. The healer of any school of mental or spiritual healing will find this plan very helpful to him in giving absent as well as present treatments. I recommend it from years of personal experience as well as that of other advanced occultists. Of course, the fact that the ordinary healer is not able to distinguish the finer shades of astral color by reason of his not having actually perceived them manifested in the aura, renders his employment of this method less efficacious than that of the developed and trained occultist. But nevertheless, he will find that from the knowledge of the auric or astral colors given in this little book, he will be able to obtain quite satisfactory and marked results in his practice. The following table committed to memory will be of help to him in the matter of employing the mental image of the auric colors in his healing work. I think there's like a teeny tiny blue speck on this page. I'm on a tablet after all. And I think if we push on it, it will show us the table. Or maybe we have to get, I don't know, okay, no, here it is. I thought this was another chapter. All right, here we go. I thought it was like, the next chapter, because the writing was suddenly bold and big. Never mind. But there's like a footnote, and I don't know if it just says 69, and I don't know what that is referring to. So I want to let you guys know before we get further into this table, Gutenberg.org is where I found this book, which again is called The Human Aura. In case you don't want to listen to me read it again, you can, of course, as many times as you like. But if you want to read it directly from the book itself, or if you want to, read along with me, it might be helpful. Some people have a better time learning by hearing. Others have to see it. So if I tell you that, look up The Human Aura by Swami Panchadasi on Gutenberg.org, then you will have it directly in front of you, the exact thing that I'm reading. All right, so here we go. Table of healing colors. Nervous system. Cooling and soothing. Shades of violet and lavender, etc. Resting and invigorating effect. Grass greens. Inspiring and illuminating. Medium yellows and orange. Stimulating and exciting. Reds, bright reds. Blood and organs. Cooling and soothing. Clear dark blues. Resting and invigorating. Grass greens. Inspiring and illuminating. Orange yellows. Stimulating and exciting. Bright reds. The following additional suggestions will be found helpful to the healer in cases of impaired physical vitality, also chilliness, lack of bodily warmth, etc. Bright warm reds are indicated. In cases of feverishness, overheated blood, excessive blood pressure, inflammation, etc., blue is indicated. Red has a tendency to produce renewed and more active heart action, while violets and lavenders tend to slow down the too rapid beating of the heart. A nervous, unstrung patient may be treated by bathing her mentally in a flood of violet or lavender auric color, while a tired, used-up, fatigued person may be invigorated by flooding him with bright reds followed by bright, rich yellows, finishing the treatment with a steady flow of warm orange color. To those who are sufficiently advanced in occult philosophy, I would say that they should remember the significance of the Great White Light and accordingly conclude their treatment by an effort to indicate an approach to the clear, pure white color in the aura, mentally, of course. Okay. This will leave the patient in an inspired, exalted, illuminated state of mind and soul, which will be of great benefit to him, reinvigorating the healer by cosmic energy or paraprana. It's like the outer edge of prana, I think he means. Everything that has been said in this chapter regarding the use of color in magnetic treatments is equally applicable to cases of self-healing or self-treatment. Let the patient follow the directions above given for the healer, and then turn the healing current or thought inward, and the result will be the same as if he were treating another. The individual will soon find that certain colors fit his requirements better than others, in which case let him follow such experience in preference to general rules, for the intuition generally is the safest guide in such cases. However, it will be found that the individual experience will usually agree with the tables given above, with slight personal variations. Okay, guys, now this next chapter is called Developing the Aura. I think in the last chapter I accidentally said chapter 9. This one is chapter 9. That one was chapter 8. So I think it's Roman numerals. So I read it wrong. Anyway, no excuse. I know what Roman numerals are what, but purging myself of that mistake now. Okay, so chapter 9, Developing the Aura. When it is remembered that the aura of the individual affects and influences other persons with whom he comes into contact, and is in fact an important part of his personality, it will be seen that it is important that the individual take pains to develop his aura in the direction of desirable qualities. Develop your aura in the direction of desirable qualities. Okay, makes sense. Okay. And to neutralize and weed out, purge, undesirable ones. This becomes doubly true when it is also recommended that, according to the law of action and reaction, the auric vibrations react upon the mind of the individual, thus intensifying and adding fuel to the original mental states which called them forth. From any point of view, it is seen to be an important part of self-development and character building to develop the aura according to scientific occult principles. In this work of aura development, there is found to be two correlated phases, namely, number 1, the direct work of flooding the aura with the best vibrations by means of holding in the mind clear, distinct, repeated mental pictures of desirable ideas and feelings, and number 2, the added effect of mental images of colors corresponding to the ideas and feelings which are deemed desirable and worthy of development. The first of the above mentioned phases is probably far more familiar to the average student than is the second. This from the fact that the average student is apt to be more or less familiar with the teachings of the numerous schools or cults which agree in the axiom that holding the thought tends to develop the mind of the individual along particular lines of such thought. This is a correct psychological principle. For that matter, even when those practicing it do not fully understand the underlying facts, mental faculties like physical muscles tend to develop by exercise and use. And any faculty may be developed and cultivated in this way. Another teaching of these same schools is that the character of the individual, so held by the individual, affects other persons with whom he comes in contact, and, in a way, attracts to him objective things, persons, and circumstances in harmony with such thoughts. This also is in accordance with the best occult teaching, from which, of course, it was originally derived. I heartily endorse the facts of these teachings and pronounce them fundamentally correct. And in this connection, I may say that every healer may apply his own methods plus this teaching regarding the aura, and thus obtain greatly increased results. By the faithful persevering holding in mind of certain ideas and feelings, the individual may flood his aura with the vibrations and colors of such ideas and feelings, and thus charge it with auric energy and power. By so doing, he gains the benefit of the reaction upon his own mind and also secures the advantage of the effect thereof upon other persons with whom he comes into contact. In this way, he not only builds up his individual character along desirable lines, but at the same time develops a strong, positive, attractive personality. He says personality with quotes around it, personality, which affects others with whom he comes into contact. I do not consider it necessary to go into details here regarding this phase of holding the thought, for as I've already said, the average familiar, oh my God, my dyslexia is funny. I can't believe that I said that. As I've already said, the average student is already familiar. The average student is already familiar with the rules regarding the same. In a nutshell, however, I will say that each individual is largely the result of the thoughts he has manifested and the feelings which he has harbored. Therefore, the rule is to manifest and exercise the faculties you would develop, and inhibit or refrain from manifesting the ones you would restrain or control. Again, to restrain an undesirable faculty, develop and exercise its opposite, kill out the negatives by developing the positives. The mind produces thought, and yet it tends to grow from the particular portion of its own product which you may choose to feed to it, for it not only creates thought but also feeds upon it. So finally, let it produce the best kind of thought for you, and then throw that back into the hopper, for it will use it to grind out more of the same kind and grow strong in so doing. That is the whole thing in a nutshell. The second phase of aura development is as above classified, however, is not likely to be familiar to the average student, for the reason that it is not known outside of advanced occult circles, and very little has been allowed to be taught regarding it. But the very reticence regarding it is a proof of its importance. And I strongly advise my students to give to it the attention and practice that its importance merits. The practice thereof, however, is extremely simple, and the principle of the practice, moreover, is based solely upon the facts of the relation of color and mental states, as shown in the astral auric colors, as fully explained in the preceding chapters of this book. In order to intelligently practice the development of the aura by means of flooding or charging it with the vibrations of psychic colors, it is first necessary that the student be thoroughly familiar with the scale of colors related to each set of mental states or emotional feelings. This scale and its key is found in a number of places in the preceding chapters. The student should turn back the pages of this book and then carefully reread and restudy every word which has been said about the relation of mental states and auric colors. He should know the mental correspondence of the shades of red, yellow, and blue so thoroughly that the thought of one will bring the idea of the other. He should be able to think of the corresponding group of colors the moment he thinks of any particular mental state. He should be thoroughly familiar with physical, mental, and spiritual effect of any of the colors, and should moreover test himself psychically for the individual effects of certain colors upon himself. He should enter into this study with interest and earnestness, and then by keeping his eyes and ears open, he will perceive interesting facts concerning the subject on every side in his daily work and life. He will perceive many proofs of the principle and will soon amass a stock of experiences illustrating each color and its corresponding mental state. He will be richly repaid for the work of said study, which in fact will soon grow to be more like pleasure than like work. Having mastered the phase of the subject, the student should give himself a thorough, honest self-examination and mental analysis. He should write down a chart of his strong points and his weak ones. He should check off the traits which should be developed and those with which should be restrained. He should determine whether he needs development along physical, mental, and spiritual lines, and in what degree. Having made this chart of himself, he should then apply the principles of charging the aura with the color vibrations indicated by his self-diagnosis and prescription. The last stage is quite simple. Once one has acquired the general idea back of it, it consists simply in forming as clear a mental image as possible of the color or colors desired, and then projecting the vibrations into the aura by this simple effort of the will. This does not mean that one needs to clench the fists or frown or the brow in his willing. Glad he said that, because I was getting ready to do that. Willing in the occult sense may be said to consist of the command, leaving the rest to the mechanism of the will and mind. Take away the obstacle of doubt and fear, then the royal command performs the work of setting the will into operation. This, by the way, is an important occult secret of wide application. Try to master its all-important significance. The mental imaging of colors may be materially aided by concentration upon physical material of the right color. By concentrating the attention and vision upon a red flower, for instance, or upon a bit of green leaf. In another instance, one may be able to form a clear, positive mental image of that particular color. This accompanied by the willing and demand that the vibrations of this color still charge the aura will be found to accomplish the result. Have something around you showing the desirable colors, and your attention will almost instinctively take up the impression thereof, even though you may be thinking of or doing something else. Live as much as possible in the idea and the presence of the desirable color, and you will get into the habit of setting up the mental image and vibration itself. Mental image and vibration thereof. A little practice and experience will soon give you the idea and enable you to get the best results. Patience, perseverance, and sustained earnest interest. That is the key of success. All right, so I'm trying to see how much we have for. All right, we have one more chapter, and literally that's the end. So how cool is that? All right, so we're going to read that right now. Oops. I just accidentally blew it up. It was massive. All right. Chapter 10, the protective aura. Among the very oldest of the teachings of occultism, we find instructions regarding the building up and maintenance of the protective aura of the individual, whereby he renders himself immune to undesirable physical, mental, psychic, or spiritual influences. So important is this teaching that it is to be regretted that there has not been more said on the subject by some of the writers of recent years. The trouble with many of these recent writers is that they seem to wish to close their eyes to the unpleasant facts of life and to gaze only upon the pleasant ones. But this is a mistake, for ignorance has never been a virtue, and to shut one's eyes to unpleasant facts does not always result in destroying them. I consider any teaching unfinished and inadequate which does not include instruction along protective lines. Physical auric protection consists in charging the aura with vital magnetism and color, which will tend to ward off not only the physical contagion of ill persons, but what often still more important, the contagion of their own mind and feelings. The student who has really studied, the student who, I'm like, I don't know why it's so hard for me to read tonight, but I sat down and record this at 11 and it's now 5 in the morning, so it's like I did that falling asleep thing. Massive amounts of income coming in. See, I can't even speak. Incoming cosmic radiation. I'm dealing with this so much energy while I'm at the same time trying to read this. So anyway, I'm going to attempt to read this last chapter to see, we need to finish the book. Start a new book next week. So here we go. So I'm sorry about just making all these mistakes. It's like I'm with the reading glasses and everything. So, all right, bear with me. Where were we? The student who has really studied the preceding chapters will at once realize that this protection is afforded by filling the aura with the vibrations of health and physical strength by means of the mental imaging of the life-preserving reds and the exercise of the mind in the direction of thought of strength and power. These two things will tend to greatly increase the resistive aura of anyone and enable him to throw off disease influences which affect others. The aura of the successful physician and healer in the presence of disease will invariably show the presence of bright positive red in the aura, accompanied by the mental vibrations of strength, power, and confidence, and the absence of fear. This, in connection with the auric circle, which shall be described presently, will be of great value to healers, physicians, nurses, etc., as well as to those who are brought into intimate contact with sick persons. Of practically the same degree of importance is charging of the aura with the vibrations of mental protection, vis-a-vis the vibrations of orange, yellow, and similar colors. These are the colors of intellect. You will remember, and when the aura is charged and flooded with them, it acts as a protection against the efforts of others to convince one against his will by sophistical arguments, plausible reasoning, fallacious illustrations, etc. It gives to one a sort of mental illumination, quickening the perceptive faculties and brightening up the reasoning and judging powers, and finally giving a sharp edge to the powers of repartee and answer. If you will assume the right positive mental attitude, and will flood your aura with the vibrations of the mental orange yellow, the mental efforts of other persons will rebound from your aura, or, to use another figure of speech, will slip from it like water from the back of a proverbial duck. It is well to carry the mental image of your head being surrounded by a golden aura or halo. At such times, this will be found especially efficacious as a protective helmet, when you are assaulted by the intellect or arguments of others. That's like super helpful. A golden aura or halo. That might be my shield. I like that. And again, there is a third form of protective aura, namely protection of one's emotional nature. And this is highly important when one remembers how frequently we are moved to action by our emotions rather than by our intellect or reason. To guard one's emotions is to guard one's very inmost soul, so to speak. If we can protect our feeling and emotional side, we will be able to use our reasoning powers and intellect far more effectively, as all know by experience. What color should we use in this form of auric protection? Can anyone be in doubt here if he has read the preceding chapters? What is the emotional protective color? Why, blue, of course. Blue controls the part of the mind or soul, and by raising ourselves into the vibrations of positive blue, we leave behind us the lower emotions and feelings and are transported into the higher realms of the soul, where these low vibrations and influences cannot follow us. In the same way, the blue-colored aura will act as an armor to protect us from the contagion of the low passions and feelings of others. If you are subjected to evil influences or contagion of those harboring low emotions and desires, you will do well to acquire the art of flooding your aura with positive blue tints. Make a study of bright, clear blues, and you will instinctively select the color best suited for your needs. Nature gives us this instinctive knowledge, if we will but seek for it and then apply it when found. The aura of great moral teachers, great priests, and preachers, advanced occultists, in fact, all men with lofty ideals working among those lower on the moral scale, are always found to be charged with a beautiful clear blue, which acts as a protection to them when they are unduly exposed to moral or emotional contagion. Ignorance of the occult laws have caused the downfall of many a great moral teacher who could have protected himself in this way in times of strong attack of low vibrations, had he but known the truth. The individual who knows this law and who applies it is rendered absolutely immune from evil contagion on the emotional plane of being. Okay, the Great Auric Circle. But no occult instruction on this subject would be complete without a reference to the Great Auric Circle of Protection, which is a shelter to mind, soul, and body against outside psychic influences, directed consciously or unconsciously against the individual. In these days of widespread, though imperfect, knowledge of psychic phenomena, it is especially important that one should be informed as to this great shield of protection. Omitting all references to the philosophy underlying it, it may be said that this auric circle is formed by making the mental image, accompanied by the demand of will, of the aura being surrounded by a great band of pure, clear, white light. A little perseverance will enable you to create this on the astral plane, and though, unless you have the astral vision, you cannot see it actually, yet you will actually feel its protective presence, so that you will know that it is there guarding you. The white auric circle will be an effective, infallible armor against all forms of psychic attack or influence, no matter from whom it may emanate, or whether directed consciously or unconsciously. It is a perfect and absolute protection, and the knowledge of its protective power should be sufficient to drive fear from the heart of all who have dreaded psychic influence, malicious animal magnetism, so-called, or anything else of its kind, by whatever name known. It is also a protection against psychic vampirism, or draining of magnetic strength. The auric circle is, of course, really egg-shaped or oval, for it fringes the aura as the shell cases the egg. See yourself mentally as surrounded by this great white auric circle of protection, and let the idea sink into your consciousness, realizing its power over the influences from outside, and rejoice in the immunity it gives you. The auric circle, however, will admit any outside impressions that you really desire to come to you, while shutting out the others. That is, with this exception, that if your inner soul recognizes that some of these desired influences and oppressions are apt to harm you, though your reason and feeling know it not, then will such impressions be denied admittance. For the white light is a radiation of spirit, which is higher than ordinary mind, emotion, or body, and is master of all. And is power, even though we can but imperfectly represent it, even mentally, is such that before its energy and in its presence, in the aura, all lower vibrations are neutralized and disintegrated. The highest, deepest occult teaching is that the white light must never be used for purpose of attack or personal gain, but that it may be properly used by anyone at any time to protect against outside psychic influences against which the soul protests. It is the armor of the soul and may well be employed whenever and wherever the need arises. Throughout the pages of this little book have been scattered crumbs of teaching other than those concerning the aura alone. Those for whom these are intended will recognize and appropriate them, and the others will not see them and will pass them by. One attracts his own to him. Much seed must fall on waste places in order that here and there a grain will find lodgment in rich soil, awaiting its coming. True occult knowledge is practical power and strength. Beware of prostituting the higher teachings for selfish ends and ignoble purposes. To guard and preserve your own will is right. To seek to impose your will upon that of another is wrong. Passive resistance is often the strongest form of resistance. This is quite different from non-resistance. The end. And that's it. That's all she wrote, guys. We did it. Yay. Alright, well, that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. We will be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, just like always. And I'm just feeling another wave of this energy from the cosmos. I hope that when you guys went through it, you were able to sleep through it and sleep it off, because it's powerful and intense. But it's changing us and purging us on many different levels. And maybe this last chapter that we just read in the book will help you with a lot of the things that we were discussing in the first half. So don't forget, put up your shields in your auras. Strengthen and protect your auras with the colors that you need at the moment. Okay, so there it is. I wanted to say thank you to you guys who have nominated me. A lot of people have written and said, hey, I nominated you. Even a couple people who don't even watch the show, or listen to the show, have been nominating me. Just friends who happen to see I needed help. So I want to say thank you to those people if you do listen to the show. If you nominate me and go, well, maybe I should hear it one episode. If you heard this episode, I wanted to say thank you for that, which is very, very cool of you to nominate me in the People's Choice Award, People's Choice Podcast Awards. So, yeah, that's it for now. I do love you guys. I love you very much. I hope that you are well. I hope that you're continuing to be well and act in manners and ways that will keep you well, such as staying at home and wearing a mask and spraying your groceries down with rubbing alcohol before you open the bags even, and then spraying down all the products. It's the only way to be safe right now. So, life has changed for a little bit, but it's all going to get better. It's all going to get better. Just keep strengthening your auras, keep purging yourself of things you don't need, and everything is going to end up okay. Everything is going to be okay. Remember Eggbach, E-G-B, okay. Everything's going to be okay. So, I'm going to Eggbach it out of here. Because I am barely able to keep my eyes open again, which is just absolutely crazy. Yeah, but there you go. So, that's it. That's it for now. I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.